So you may be concerned about wheat shortages, what the future is looking like for grains here in the United States specifically. What about the fertilizer shortage? All the things going on. Well, who better to ask than a wheat farmer? And that's what we're going to be doing today. Hey everyone, welcome back to Grains and Grit. My name is Felicia, and for those who are new, welcome. Glad to have you here on this channel. We talk all the things about real whole grains from a biblical perspective, milling your own wheat, prepping with grains, you name it, we do it with grains. And if you have been here before, then definitely welcome back. I love having you here. Today, we are going to be interviewing Farm Fresh Wheat, wheat farmers based in the state of Washington, which is actually close to Azure Standard, which is based in Oregon. And I'm really excited about this interview. We talk about so many different things. We talk about their own operation, what they grow. We also talk about wheat shortages, their opinion about fertilizer, what the future of wheat holds in this country. Basically anything that popped into my brain. Kevin and Elizabeth are absolutely wonderful. And in this video, we also talked with Elizabeth about her milling journey because she also mills her own wheat. And she's one of the few lucky ones who actually has a backyard full of wheat that she can use. We're going to be talking about that. So we talk about many different topics in here, and I do have timestamps below in the description box. So if you want to skip around to what topic suits you, that's totally fine. Also, be sure to check out the description box for a discount code that I have for all of y'all for Farm Fresh Wheat. So they grow and sell soft white wheat. You are ordering straight from the farmer, and there's a 10% off your first order down below. And I'll also probably put it on the screen here as well. It'll also tell you where to go to place your order. The great thing about Farm Fresh Wheat is they sell soft white wheat berries directly shipped to your house. And they also have a subscription that you can sign up for as well. And that saves you a bit of money where it can be coming monthly, or I think bi-monthly as well, you can choose. So be sure to check out that description box below. I've also recently received my order from Farm Fresh Wheat, and I will be showing you guys my order at the end of this video. So be sure to stay tuned. I appreciate your grace in advance because this was my very first interview on video through the interwebs, and it got a little tricky figuring all of this out. So I appreciate your grace when it comes to this. But again, timestamps are down below if you're searching for a specific topic. In this interview, do know that Kevin is a farmer, and we did have to work around his schedule. So part of the interview will be with him, and then he had to get back on his tractor to go back to the fields, and the rest will be with Elizabeth talking about everything. But again, timestamps are all down below and on the video bar below. Without further ado, let's get to this interview. Welcome. Yeah. So Elizabeth, tell us about you. If you want to talk about your family, that's fine. If I respect your privacy, if not. But in general, how did y'all get started as a wheat farm? The history of y'all's farm when y'all took over, because I do believe it's a multi-generational operation there. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and about Farm Fresh Wheat.
Okay, sounds good. So our farm is actually third, technically fourth generation. So it was originally homesteaded around the turn of the century by great Uncle Sam. That's what we all refer to him as. And then Grandpa, Kevin's grandpa, so this is Kevin's family, not mine, purchased the farm from great Uncle Sam after he returned from the Korean War with his twin brother. Now, great Uncle Sam this gets confusing, is actually Grandma's uncle, and he made the purchase before he met Grandma, and so they got married, and so that's why we say it's technically fourth generation. And then we're currently in the process of transferring the farm from Kevin's dad to us, where we'll be the owners and actual day-to-day managers of the farm. But right now we do farm with Kevin's dad. And like you said, it is soft white wheat. That's what we've been doing since about the 80s, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, we did not clarify this with Kevin, but are y'all, are y'all certified organic, or would you say you kind of use organic practices, or y'all just full on, you use whatever it is that you use on wheat.
Yes. So we are a conventional operation. So we do use what we call sustainable practices. They're not technically organic, but we do use a fallow rotations that minimizes the amount of chemical we do have to put on the land. We also really make soil erosion. That's really important to us. We're trying to minimize that as much as possible and keep moisture in the ground as much as possible. And so we do use some chemical, but we do try to minimize that as much as possible because chemical is actually very expensive. And so, so we are conventional.
That should have been a question for Kevin. I forgot to ask. So good thing you knew that answer. So Kevin, again, you were the actual wheat farmer, the guy on the tractor. So I would like your opinion about basically what's going on with the whole wheat industry right now, as far as, people, we're hearing about wheat shortages, things like that. So as far as wheat shortages, grain shortages go, in your professional opinion, are there true wheat shortages right now in the United States? Do you foresee them coming? What's your whole opinion about that?
Really, I don't foresee there actually being a real shortage, just because the U.S. government actually has a reserve too. It's just it may not, with the Ukraine situation, they're a big grower for Europe and some of the Middle East and stuff. But as far as a shortage, I really don't see. And if it is, it's not going to be very long because, Texas should start cutting here within another month. They'll start, and then it'll just work its way all the way up to, we'll start in July cutting our wheat. So it won't take very long. But with the current economic situation with inflation, the price will stay, the dollar's weaker, so we'll end up exporting quite a bit more this year as the dollar is weaker.
Okay. That's very interesting. So as far as, because I know we've also heard of, it was crazy hot where y'all lived last year. There were droughts in various places of the U.S. Did that affect y'all any as far as your wheat production? Did you notice a dip, or did it was there really any difference, any noticeable difference?
For us, it was last year's production was down quite a bit. I'd say probably 50-60% what it usually is. And because we're in about an 8-inch rainfall area, and we don't have any irrigation on our farm. And so it's just kind of what little snow we got last year kind of helped carry us through. And we did get some good rains last fall, but we didn't get the snow during the winter to kind of help us this year. But if we can get a few more rains, another inch or so by the beginning of June, we should be about an average.
Okay. Oh, good to know. Because I know Azure Standard, they posted an article, I believe, like last August about what they were able to grow. And they're right there next to you guys. Y'all are in Washington. They're in Oregon. That they had a bit, because of the droughts, the intense heat, they took a bit of a hit. And I think they said, like, even their einkorn, like their grains, the berries were a bit smaller than usual. Okay. So do you see any issues like for this growing season or even coming forward? It sounds like that you do expect to have a better harvest this year.
Looking at it right now, it could be a little better, but it could quit raining and turn off hot, and that would really hurt. But as of right now, looking at the field stuff, we've got the potential to have an average crop.
Okay. So with that being said, how does it work with you guys? Because I know y'all grow soft white wheat berries. So when do you plant and when do you harvest?
Okay, so it's a winter wheat, so we'll plant. We start middle of August and try to have it all planted by the 1st of September, and so it can get good growth in the fall before it goes dormant to just compete with weeds and give it a good start in the spring.
Yeah. Okay. And y'all harvest in the spring? Is that what you said?
We harvest. We'll start harvest second or third week in July. Is when we'll start.
So it's coming up.
Yep.
It's coming up. All right. Well, that's exciting. Now, the second issue that we've heard about as far as grains go is regarding fertilizer. I was seeing where farmers were not only having difficulty getting their hands on fertilizer, but that the cost of it just skyrocketed out of nowhere. So, well, not out of nowhere, but so how has that been affecting? How is that affecting you? I mean, do y'all even use, I assume y'all are using fertilizer. So where's that coming from? Has the price increased? Are you having issues? What's the lowdown about the fertilizer?
For fertilizer for us, it's up about 50%. And that's kind of across the country from what I was seeing.
Yeah.
That's about the same. Ours is a little cheaper, and we've got a place here locally that produces, I think it's some pig feed for ADM. And so it's actually a byproduct of theirs, so we can get it a little cheaper. And so that helps us. And then with that, we use rate controllers when we fertilize. And so we can do a prescription as we go through the field, and areas that just don't produce very well, real shallow ground, we can cut it off there. So that helps cut costs too.
Okay. Now, is the issue more of an actual shortage with fertilizer, or do you think it's more of a price point with wheat farmers in general?
I think it's more of a price. I know they talk that China produces most of our nitrogen when we import from China. And so with the Olympics being there, they shut down production for 2 or 3 weeks and stuff during the Olympics. And then, you can get in the conspiracy if with the COVID shutdown, a lot of stuff, everybody's seen the prices skyrocketed on just about everything, if that's some of it. And so, because once price goes up, it's not going to come down very, very quick.
No, they usually don't lower their prices really once they get used to that. So, okay. So I think this is kind of our last question, or if anything else you would like to input. Again, I know that y'all only grow soft white wheat. And actually, I haven't asked that question. Why soft white wheat? Why did y'all decide soft white wheat and not other types of wheats or grains available?
It was when my grandpa first started farming in the mid to late 50s, a lot of people, it was hard red wheats. But just over time, we can't hit that protein level, guaranteed protein level. And the soft white out yields it in our area. So that's why everybody's just stuck with the soft white.
Okay. Well, it was interesting. I was surprised to see that y'all were based in Washington, because I know, historically speaking, soft white wheat was generally grown in the South, and the hard wheats were generally grown up north. And so when I saw that y'all grew soft white wheat in Washington, I'm like, I didn't even know that was possible, because I thought it was mainly down here in the South that was predominantly grown.
Well, we just can't get the moisture, so you can't guarantee that protein level, because they want 11.5 to 14% protein, and we can't hit that.
All right. Well, so as overall wheat farmers, I think we've already kind of touched on this. Again, I know that y'all are based in Washington, and I'm sure it's different depending on where a wheat farmer is located at. But just in general, as a wheat farmer, do you think the future is looking pretty good, or people should be preparing for worst case scenario, or just maybe a drought type, just for a temporary shortage or things like that? Just kind of overall, like 6 to 12 months from now, where do you see the wheat industry being?
At the current weather conditions, it'll probably be down just a little bit, but there's enough irrigated acres and stuff that I don't foresee a huge shortage. And so, and like for us, about half of our farm goes in our grain bins here on the farm.
Okay.
And I'm sure other suppliers, that's kind of the same case, is they've got on-farm or so they can kind of keep that stuff back, instead of the other half goes to the grain elevator, which is sold on the commodity cash market. So.
Okay. All right. Well, good to know. And did I hear you say that the government actually has a stockpile of wheat? Or did I misunderstand you?
Yes, the USDA and the government does have certain grains and different products that, like grain and stuff, that can be stored long term. They do have
Okay.
reserves. What the level is, I don't know, but they do have
Yeah.
reserves.
Oh, I did not know that. So thank you for that information.
Which they should.
All right.
We produce as much wheat as anybody else in the world, and
Yeah.
corn and stuff like that. We can outproduce the rest of the world just with the ability
Mhm.
for water and
Space, land.
Yes.
Yeah, we're a very, very large country. So, okay, because I know my biggest thing was people were kind of panicking in a way, and like they're saying they can't find grains. And I've noticed that I think the main problem is not that there's necessarily an actual wheat shortage. It's more, I think, of like a labor supply chain issue, where I know Azure Standard said that they were unable to clean and pack up the grains as fast as people were ordering it. And I think that's generally where the delay is, not so much actual shortage of wheat. It's more of a labor supply issue. Would you say that's probably the general case?
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Kevin, if there's anything else you want to add, you can add it now. Otherwise, we will let you go do farm things that I know you got to get to.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's it for me. All right. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. Okay. So you and I talk about actually milling the wheat, because we're clearly the ones who probably do that in our family. I found you interesting as I found you on Instagram, and I cannot remember how I found you, probably through hashtags. I can't remember. And what drew me to you actually was the fact that you were actually talking about milling your own wheat, not just, hey, we're wheat farmers and we sell wheat berries. And you actually have your saved stories, the 7 tips for making milling a habit. And I absolutely love those. And for anyone who has not seen them, you got to check them out at Farm Fresh Wheat on Instagram. And then we've been talking ever since. So how long have you been milling your wheat, and why did you start?
Okay, so it's really an interesting story. It really started back in summer of 2018. And I have to give Kevin credit for this, because our venture into milling was not your typical food allergy or diet change or health scare. It was actually Kevin came home one day from being on the tractor all day, and he is an idea person. So he came home, and I remember it was late. It was probably 9 o'clock at night. I'm making his dinner, and he's like, we should sell our wheat for home milling. And I looked at him like, you've been out in the sun too long. And I said, what people actually do that? And I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to like shoot this idea down right away. So I Googled it the next day. And lo and behold, people they mill. So I told Kevin we can do it, but I want to learn how to mill so I can tell people how to use our product, because you don't want to sell them something that you've never used yourself. And then after doing some research, I found Sue Becker, and we all love Sue. And her cookbook, like the Essential Home Ground Fat Flour Cookbook, I was reading through that. And when I was reading her talk about the health benefits of freshly milled flour compared to store-bought flour, that's when milling, to me, it became like personal. It was no longer about serving future customers. It was, I'm feeding my family dead flour, and I have a field of wheat. Yeah, one of the most nutritious grains that God ever made sitting in my backyard. And I could do so much better for my family. And so that's when I really took the dive into milling. Kevin's grandma actually taught me how. And so we started actually milling 2019, and so I'm about on 3.5 years.
Okay. That's amazing, because not many of us can say we actually have a backyard full of wheat. So you have an advantage over many of us, the fact that you grow your own wheat. So that's really cool. So with that, I know you said that you didn't start because of health issues or, nothing like that going on. But have you seen any sort of difference or improvement in things? Like, have you noticed any sort of difference, even the fact that it might actually fill up your children or whatever the case may be? Have you noticed any difference since you've been milling?
So we are actually very fortunate to be extremely healthy. So like allergies, food sensitivities, we have none of that. And so really, I think about the only difference we saw was we just stay full a little bit longer when we eat whole grains. And we don't have like that sugar craving as much either. So
yes.
Yeah, I think that's just the main thing for us. But like I said, we're fortunate. We're very healthy.
Yeah, same. It was the same case for us, really. I started we were in, like my late 20s whenever I started, and it was just me and my husband. We didn't have any children at the time. And so my children have been raised. This is the bread that they have known, but so for me, it's more of, I know that I can't imagine being able to keep my children's bellies full without this bread, because my children, possibly like yours, being farm kids, we're out in the country, and like they run around like crazy and are always starving.
Yeah.
I don't know where they put it. And I'm constantly so thankful that I have real food to give them, real grains, because Wonder Bread from the store ain't going to cut it. I mean, one of my sons, he could eat like 5 sandwiches from Wonder Bread and still be hungry. So, so that was a similar story with us. But on the contrary, I've heard so many people talk about the health issues that they've been able to get over when they switched to milling. So that's really cool. So I know that y'all grow soft white wheat. So that's what you got in your backyard. But do you mill any other type of grains, and do you have any other favorites besides the soft white wheat that y'all have?
Yes. So I do use a hard white and a hard red for the yeast spreads, because the soft white is just really not made for yeast bread. So if you want yeast bread, you either have to mix the soft white with a bread flour, which defeats the purpose of milling, or you have to use a hard, because you're just not going to get that rise with the soft white. And so I use Palouse brand out of Palouse in Washington State. And that's fun because Kevin and I actually went to college just right down the road from their headquarters.
Okay.
So it feels like it's in our backyard, and I order directly from their website. I know they're on Amazon too, but I like ordering from their website. It's a little bit more personal, and you know that money is going to the farmer. Amazon's not getting their cut.
Yeah. And I think they have free shipping, I believe, is what they have. Yeah, they do have that. And I've priced their grains, and they're actually not bad with the pricing. So I personally have never used Palouse brand, but I've really heard nothing but great things.
Yeah, I really love about them. The turnaround when your wheat arrives is so quick. Some of that is, we're just 3 hours away, but they have a really good hard red spring. That one this year, it just seems like it's really good. I'm really liking that for breads. So,
all right, good. I'm gonna have to. I need to try them. I need to see what I can get. And I know that they're one of the few people that actually have wheat in stock right now.
They do.
It is so difficult to find things right now. Okay. Well, I think that is all my questions as far as milling. Do you have anything else to add in the milling category?
No, I don't really have anything else to add, except if you guys or anyone watching is new to milling, just hang in there. I know when you get started, it's tough and things don't turn out the way you want. You have cookies sliding off the cookie sheet and bread that's not rising and it's not pretty, but it tastes good. Even your mistakes taste good. So just hang in there and it'll start looking pretty soon.
Yes, that is excellent advice. I tell people, I just try again. It's okay. Like it's a learning curve. And especially if you're switching from all-purpose flour from the store, it's going to take a little bit of a learning curve. So just keep at it, keep trying. You can do this. All right. So let's tell people, where can they find you? We've already mentioned Instagram, and that's Farm Fresh Wheat.
Yeah.
I noticed that y'all also, sorry, I noticed that you also go to a farmer's market. So tell us what y'all sell at the farmer's market, what farmer's market they can find for anyone there, and where else they can find you, all the things.
Okay, sounds good. So we're on Instagram and Facebook as Farm Fresh Wheat, and then it's Y. You got to get the W-A in there. Especially on Facebook, if you just type in Farm Fresh Wheat, it's like some Swedish rock band that hasn't done anything since 2015. That's not us. So you got to get the Y in there.
Okay.
We will be at farmers markets this summer. The Moses Lake Farmers Market in Central Washington, the Quincy's Farmers Market in Central Washington, and then our hometown, Ephrata, Washington. We're going to try to do their farmers market too. And we're going to be there with our beef. So not only are we a wheat farm, we actually have a working cattle operation, and we sell our beef direct to consumer. And so that's what we're going to have mostly at the farmers markets. And I'm hoping probably late summer, I'll start bringing some wheat berries and hopefully get set up maybe so people can mill, but I have to talk to the health department and get that all lined out first.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's really exciting. So for anyone, again, they're based in Washington. So anyone who's in that area, be sure to go and check them out. And I really appreciate Elizabeth, and we can tell Kevin later. So thank you so much for talking with me. I just really appreciate it. And it's been wonderful getting to know you on Instagram, and it's nice to see you.
Yeah, this was fun. I really wish you were around like 3-4 years ago when I got started, because there was like no one. It was really hard to find stuff. So this is great that you're doing this. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. That's actually why I started this channel, because I've been doing it since about 2012, 2011, I think, like end of 2011. And like then, I mean, not happening. Like, I don't think anyone was on YouTube. The only thing I could find was the Breadbeckers had their classes on their website, but they were extremely long, like 2-3 hour classes. You can't search those, nothing like that. And when everyone started to notice, talk about milling own grains and all the things come 2020 and 2021, it was actually my husband. Funny how your husband got you started on milling wheat. My husband got me on the YouTube channel because he said, look, you have this information and you need to start this. And no one was really out there on YouTube at the time. And I was just wanting to provide the information that I wish I had when I first started, to help people on this journey, because it can feel lonely when you have no one to ask for help. It's you gotta learn. So I think people are, you can get a leg up. It won't take you like a decade to get where I am, hopefully, because I'm at least there to help people. You're there as well to help people on their milling journey. And so yeah, that's funny. So thankful for husbands. We are here today because of our husbands. And, all right, Elizabeth. Well, thank you so very much for talking with me. There we have it with the interview. I hope that was very informative. I know I definitely learned some things, especially I just did not know that the government had their own supply or stock of grains, but shouldn't really surprise me. Okay, so right here is actually the order that I got. I did order 20 pounds of wheat berries, and it got to me pretty quickly. I know that they've been very busy lately. Probably, I know because I've mentioned them on this channel, and so thank you for everyone who has gone to them since I mentioned them. They are very appreciative. But this is the 20-pound bag of wheat berries that I got. They look very clean. I have not used them yet, as you can see. I think they came vacuum sealed because there was really no air in the bag when I first got them. They are shipped USPS and coming from Washington to Florida. The box was a little worse for wear, but it's USPS. What do you expect? But the berries did come intact just fine. Now, one thing I really love is Elizabeth did put a special note on here, and I've seen this before in other orders, where she handwrites a personal note saying thank you so much for the order, and she gives a recipe, and I think this is so cool. And then on the back, I love this. They tell you about themselves, about their farm. It's very, very beautiful. It talks about storing and everything like that. So be sure to check out Farm Fresh Wheat. Remember, I have a discount code for you guys in the description box below. Follow them on Instagram. Elizabeth posts wonderful information about milling your wheat, about their wheat, and especially check out her 7 tips to make milling a habit. It's a little one of those saved story highlights on Instagram, and it's super, super helpful. Otherwise, I hope that this was very informative for y'all. Let me know if you would like me to do more interviews like this. I know it was completely different. And if you want me to do more interviews, tell me in the comments below who you would like me to interview next, possibly. I do have my own list, but I would love to hear what you have to say. Otherwise, I hope that y'all have an absolutely wonderful week, and I will see y'all next week. Bye.